Hello and welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and today I'm unboxing Warhammer Quest, Curse City, Knight Wars. So this is the first expansion for Warhammer Quest Curse City, and it's also like gold dust. They only made a certain amount of these, which is kind of ridiculous because they did an original Curse City run, which was, let's say, 10,000 units. And then they kind of banished any mentioning of their Curse City game. It was removed from the internet. You couldn't find it anywhere. And then recently they were like, actually, we're going to bring it back now. We've resolved whatever issues we had. And so, yeah, so they made, let's say, another 10,000 units. But they also said, you know what, guys, we're going to bring an expansion as well. Now, the expansion doesn't contain any miniatures, which is pretty rare for basically any expansion for especially a miniature heavy company like Games Workshop. But they haven't made enough for the amount of copies that are out there in the wild, which I find baffling. And there's probably some very good business decisions as to why they've done that, but Games Workshop aren't exactly open about this kind of stuff. So anyway, needless to say, I managed to track down a copy of this. They sold out online in I don't know how long, but very quickly. And then other online retailers had been promised copies of this, but actually turns out they didn't get as many as they'd hoped. So I had to get to my local Warhammer 40 minutes before it opened to make sure that I can actually get a copy of this. So let's hopefully this is worth my time and effort. So what do you get in this? Well, no miniatures, but we're getting a new quest book. We're getting a couple of tiles, and then with some more decapitation tokens, a couple more lynch gates, an abhorrent swarm token, and all the kind of cards we're going to need. Now, to use the content, it tells you what you're going to need for this. So there's 5 different boxes of miniatures you're needing. So you've got Lady Annika the Thirsting Blade, Radica the Beast, Crits of the Rat Prince, Vampire Lord, and Felbats. So these are also quite expensive on their own. So let's have a look to see what we get inside a copy of Knight Wars. So we get a nice white piece of cardboard to separate everything out. And then we have the actual cardboard tiles themselves and the rules as well on this side. So let's try and get into this. Okay. Right, so we've got our quest book there, and we've got the same kind of glossy tokens as before, which is a real shame. I mean, I guess they're keeping the same format that come with the base set, but if I'm honest, the Curse City box set, the component quality is pretty poor. The miniatures are really good, the cards are fine and stuff, but the actual board piece seems really cheap, and it's really, yeah. Blackstone Fortress was completely different. They had a really good quality cardboard in there. So you've got 2 tiles, which really, is that going to add much value to the actual game? I don't know, but you've got those. We've got these eye tokens, no idea what they do. We've got decapitation tokens for the 3 new enemies you've got in there, as well as some little kind of diamonds there to represent them in some way. And then these eye tokens, which have some things on the back. So maybe these are discovery. And then we've got this abhorrent swarm miniature there. So that's just a ton of rats. And then these 3 icons there, which I don't know what they're for either. So the quest book, this is the main thing on here. So we've got some new crises there. We've got the introduction there. Talks to you about our new enemies. So we've got Radica the Beast, Annika the Thirsting Blade, Crits of the Rat Prince, Camilla du Sang, and some Felbats. Like I say, you're looking at £20 for quite a lot of these things, nearly £30 for the Felbats. So this expansion is going to ramp up in cost here. We've got the plot as it continues. And then the quests themselves. Some new rules as well. And hopefully, so we've got sabotage journeys, pillage journeys, decapitation journeys, and we've got some more crises. So plot-wise in there as well, and the decapitations at the end, including the final showdown. So all in all, this is pretty cool. I'm liking the amount of content in there. I'm liking the plot that you get in there. That is looking great. So we have a bag here, and this time around there are no extra heroes in here. This is just cards and enemies. So let's take a look at our enemies we're getting here. Well, first of all, we have the Night Wars kind of tracker. So it looks like they're going to be hunting us down as well, maybe. And then once you actually take them out, you're going to be getting rid of their tokens on there. We've got Doom and Victory to track once more. So, Kritzer the Rat Prince. Let's start with him. So he's got a movement 4, 9 wounds, and he's huge. Weapon action, Gnaw Blade, melee, red dice, 2, 3 damage. Piercing Strike. Damage from this weapon action cannot be reduced or ignored. Oh, so he's going to do a lot of damage to you. Special rules, Rat's Tail Cloak. Each time this hostile suffers damage, the leader must roll the quest dice. If the result is 8+, the hostile ignores damage. That's no difference from a lot of other abilities in the game for enemies. As slippery as a rat, this hostile can move adjacent to heroes without ending its move action. This hostile can move through spaces occupied by enemy models. And Stinking Coward. When choosing a target for this hostile, the leader must choose the hero that has the most wound counters and or grievous wound counters on their character card over one that does not. And his behavior table for this side. So he's got Ranted With. Each hero on the same board tile as the acting hostile is stunned and diseased. The acting hostile makes one weapon action and then a charge action. Boiling Swarm. The acting hostile makes one weapon action and then a charge action. Then each corpse rat models on the battlefield makes an advance action. And then To Me, My Children. The acting hostile makes one weapon action and then a charge action. Deploy any slain corpse rats models from all hostile groups as reinforcements. Then each corpse rat model on the battlefield makes an advance action. On the other side, he's got double red dice, which kind of sucks. And then everything is pretty much the same on the back there. He's just got more damage, and he's a bit quicker as well. Then we have Lady Annika the Thirsting Blade. She's got movement 5, brackets 2, wounds 9. The Blade Proboscian. Proboscian? I don't know how to pronounce that. Melee, 2 blues or a blue and a white. And then we've got 2, 3 or 1, 2. So Pulsating Suction. After a hero suffers damage from this weapon action, this hostile gains 1 blood point to a maximum of 2. And that hero suffers 1 additional damage. Each time this hostile gains a blood point, remove a wound counter or grievous wound counter from next to this hostile. So she's going to be, basically healing herself. On the Hunt. When this hostile is deployed, it has no blood points. Where this hostile has 2 different sets of characteristics, use the set in brackets like this when the hostile has 2 blood points. When this hostile gains blood points, place them on this card. This hostile is considered to have those blood points. Flitting Bloodsucker. When this hostile has 1 or fewer blood points, each time this hostile suffers damage, the leader must roll the quest dice. On a 5+, this model ignores the damage, so she's going to be pretty hard to take out. Blood Spurt. After a wound or grievous wound counter is placed next to this hostile, if there are any blood points on this hostile reference card, discard one of those blood points. Once a blood point is discarded, the hostile no longer has that blood point. And Rapacious Appetite. When this hostile makes a weapon action, it must attack each adjacent hero once. So we've got an advance, we've got a charge, and then Flickering Nightmare. This hostile makes a charge action, but attacks twice after making the move action instead of once. And on the other side, she's got better dice, and she's got a better movement. Okay. So we've got Camilla Dusang, movement 5, wounds 9. Coercion and Crushing Weight. A hero that suffers damage from this weapon action is stunned. Expert Combatant. Each time this hostile suffers damage, the leader must roll the quest dice, 8+, you ignore damage, add 1 to the roll for each hero adjacent to this hostile beyond the first. So yeah, she's surrounded, she's going to be easier to basically avoid damage. Slaves to her will. Increase the damage values of all Orphan Watch and Felbat weapons actions by +1/+1 while this hostile is on the battlefield. Talisman of the Night. Empowerment has no effect whilst this hostile is on the battlefield. Oosh. So 3 abilities. Call out the watch. Deploy all slain Orphan Watch from hostile groups as reinforcements. If there are no hostile groups that contain any Orphan Watch, add a group of 6 Orphan Watch models to this hostile's hostile group and deploy them as reinforcements. Then each hostile in Camilla's hostile group makes an advance action. So she's going to have a ton of these Orphan Watch helping her out. Darkened Skies. Deploy all slain Felbats from hostile groups as reinforcements. So it's exactly the same, but with Felbats, and then Supernatural Summons. Resolve a Call of the Watch action, which is that top one, and then resolve a Darkened Skies. So she's basically spawning a ton of enemies. On the other side, she got 2 reds and a blue, and her movement is slightly faster. Oh no, movement's the same. But she does a little bit more damage. Next we have Felbats. Movement 4, wounds 5, size large, vicious bite, melee. This hostile can move adjacent to heroes without ending its move action. This hostile can move through spaces occupied by any models. 1 to 6 you got a charge, but everything else is carried off. If there are no heroes adjacent to any Felbats from the active hostile group, the Felbat from the active hostile group that is nearest to any hero makes 2 move actions that must bring it as close as possible to the hero. If during either move action the Felbat enters a space adjacent to a hero, those move actions end and the leader removes that hero from the battlefield. They've been carried off. Then the Felbat makes a further 2 move actions and must move as far as possible from any hero, and if possible will end the move action so that it is not visible to any hero. After those move actions have been made, place the hero that was carried off in the nearest empty space to the Felbat that made the move actions. Then each other Felbat in the active hostile group makes a charge action, but must end each move action as near as possible to the hero that was carried off. If no hero was carried off, each remaining Felbat makes a charge action. So basically what that's saying is this guy's going to pick up a hero, then take it as far away as possible, then all the other Felbats are going to try and basically murder him. So on the other side, movement's the same, they've just got slightly better dice. Yeah. And finally, last but not least, is Radica, the beast. So Radica is the boss out of Curse City, and after you defeat him, something happens to him, which I don't know because I'm not complete Curse City yet. But here he is as the beast. So move 6, wounds 20, size giant, weapon action, rending claws, and Vicrous pack. So the beast unleashed. Each time the hostile activates, make 2 behavior rolls to determine which action it makes. Fully resolve 1 behavior roll result before making the other behavior roll. Untouchable might. When Radica the beast suffers damage, reduce the damage by 2 to a minimum of 0. Oof. Okay, so he's got Vampiric Fortitude on a 1 to 3. Remove all wound counters or 2 grievous wound counters from next to this hostile. Remove all ailments from this hostile. Then the hostile makes an advance action. Unleash the Hounds. The hostile makes the Vicrous pack weapon action. That weapon action must target the nearest visible hero to this hostile. If that weapon action cannot be made, the hostile makes an advance action. And then Torn Limb from Limb. If there are any heroes adjacent to this hero, the leader must pick one. The hero must make an agility roll. If that roll is successful, the hostile makes 1 rending claws weapon action. If the roll has failed, the hero suffers 8 damage, against which they can make a defense roll, as if they'd suffered damage from a weapon action. Otherwise, the hostile makes an advance action, so he's really tough. And he's obviously better on the other side. Okay, next we have these 2 envelopes here for level 2 vampiric powers, level 3 vampiric powers, so I guess we'll get to open those at some point. And we've got some discoveries, so we've got an Emblem of Sigmar, Meteor of Domination, Shishian Crystal Bull, Hishian Tincture, Blessed Charm, Mark of Haven, Blood Fetish, Horn of Screaming Spirits, Deep Shard Glass Dagger, Amulet of Laden Bones. We've got some more traps, and then we've got some crises in there, and some more Realm Stone options. A couple more in there as well. We've got these new things. We've got Lore Masters. So yeah, we've basically got some new options as well for leveling you guys up, which looks good. We have our vampire powers for each level. So Camilla, Kritza, and Lady Annika all have their own little vampiric power thing there. And then we have our new, we've got some new empowerments. So Corpse Bane Rune, Pulse Rush Engraving, Prey Step Weave, and a Hishmark Braid. And finally we have the encounter cards, which will include them in the game. And that's everything you get inside a box of Night Wars. If you're trying to find this game, good luck. I really hope you can find a copy if you are after it. It doesn't seem that there are many available. And if you are interested in seeing what's inside this, actually play on the table, then stay tuned to our channel because we will be doing a full playthrough of Night Wars. Until next time, guys, stay safe and die rollin'.